only see myself.
You did what?
I pinned myself so I can only see myself right now on the screen. How do I like undo that?
You can only see yourself. Well, you see you in
I
the
see
top
everyone
right.
else on the side.
Yeah, in the top right corner, there's a little button that says View. Do you see that?
Yeah.
If you click on that, you might have a few choices. Click on Gallery.
Okay. Yeah.
All better?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
When we screenshot this,
Hannah.
Everybody, I would just like to introduce you to a member of our audience for today's film festival. We got Jeff Grisho from Wilfrid Laurier. He's a professor at your university. And I invited him to come and check out your films because we're going to be doing some very similar work with another project of his. Okay, so you got a real live audience member to see your films. Thanks for joining us, Jeff.
Well, it's my pleasure. Hi, everybody. I'm looking forward to the films. And as Dr. Terry said, we're working on a project to do something similar in Ghana, and we've been doing some experimenting with Ghanaians. That's where I've been working for a few years. And we've done an experiment with a Ghanaian research assistant and a smartphone and iPhone, taking some video footage where he's from. So I'll be really, really excited to see your films.
Yeah, well, I've seen some of them. I won't give you a spoiler or anything, but I will say that they're absolutely fantastic. There's a very talented group of filmmakers in Waterloo for some reason, but they're really, really good, and I think you'll enjoy the films that we're about to see. Okay, we see that Evan has joined us, and who else is here that wasn't here before? Hi, Evan. Glad you could join us. All right, I think we got everybody here. So there's no particular order about who's going to go first. But once again, for Evan, I'll explain how we're going to do this. I'm going to ask everybody to introduce their film, say your name as well, and anything you want to say about the making of the film, or how much fun you had, or how many challenges you faced, whatever. And then we'll watch the film. And then after the film, come on back and we'll do a question and answer period, just like at a real film festival. Okay? So I'm going to allow you all to share screen. There you go. So now you can share your screen. Make sure your film is queued up on YouTube and ready to go. So when I call on you, you just, it'll be very simple to share the screen and play your film. Okay? Any questions? All right, excellent. Well, let's start with the world famous Haley.
Oh God.
Stop and get it over with.
Why are you gonna do me like that? Okay.
And what's the title of your film, Haley?
Unwrapping the Truth.
Unwrapping the Truth. Very nice.
Kind of cheesy, but you know.
That's okay.
Okay. Can you hear that?
Yep. Okay, we're going to get right into it. Eh? All right.
Did you recycle wrapping paper when you were a little girl? And did your parents? Yes, I did. At the time, it's actually all that was available. So that's certainly what everybody used for holidays and birthdays. And yeah, definitely my parents did. Why do you think it hasn't gained popularity? I think basically because it doesn't have the colors that normal wrapping paper might have. It doesn't have the attractiveness. Why do you think it's important to use recyclable wrapping paper over traditional wrapping paper? After what I've learned in the last year regarding wrapping papers, whether recyclable or not, it's better to use recyclable paper, such as grocery bags, to repurpose them. And that way you're using something again, rather than creating papers that are used solely for one purpose and then you can't recycle it. Have you made the switch? Well, I'm going to this coming year. After the past holiday season and what I've learned and how unrecyclable paper affects the planet and the environment, then yeah, I'm going to make the switch to recyclable paper for the next holiday season coming up and for any birthdays that might be coming up as well.
Awesome. All right, let's hear it for Haley. Oh, that was a great film, Haley. Thank you so much. Very interesting subject too. It's one I haven't really encountered before. The idea of not using commercial wrapping paper for presents. I particularly liked the various statistics that you included. You had a lot of good research there.
Yeah.
In particular, the existing wrapping paper on the Earth can be dragged around the Earth to cover it 9 times.
Yeah, when I read that, I was like, oh my God, that's insane.
No, that just blew me away. The other thing I liked is not only did you identify the problem, but you offered some solutions. You know, in that little fast motion wrapping of the sweater there that you did with ordinary brown paper and everything, that was fascinating to see. And you offered some information with a website that sells environmentally safe wrapping paper. So those are good to provide some solutions.
Thanks.
Okay, that's all I have to say. Let's open it up to some questions from the crowd. Anybody? Yeah, Kristen.
What was your favorite part about the whole project? What did you like the most?
Mine or Dr. Terry?
You.
I don't know. Like I don't know. I really liked filming the actual like gift wrapping part. It was fun editing it because it actually took me like 30 minutes to wrap that gift because it was the first one that I did. So it took me a really long time to figure out how to properly get it to wrap nicely. But also I like how I showed that, and then after that I showed my mom actually opening it on Christmas morning. Because for like, since I've gone to Laurier for 3 years now, and she's always wanted to get a Laurier mom sweater, and I just haven't gotten her one. So it's nice that I was able to get that on video and end up actually using it for something too. So that was probably it.
Yeah, very nice. A very touching scene too. Hannah, yes, you have a question.
I also want to compliment the Laurier mom unwrapping. I thought that was so cute. And I was like, oh my God, propaganda for the school, but done in a really classy way. And I really like the music that you ended up choosing. I know that you were like debating what to go with, but I think that really helped the tone of the film seem like more positive, and like, especially because you offer the solutions, I think it was like really good to get that message across.
Yeah, it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to use for the second song. Like the first one I found pretty easily, but the second one I was gonna do like a Christmas jingle at first, but I couldn't find any that didn't sound too happy but too like sad. You know what I'm saying? Like there was no actually good mix, so I just found the other one. It was I had both of them are by the same guy, which is cool. So I don't have to credit more than one person, which was nice. But yeah, the guy's really talented. I forget his name right now, but I think his name is Scott Buckley. I think it was. He's really, really talented.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, the music really added to your film.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Jeff or Ruan, yeah, go ahead.
I just had like some compliments. I really enjoyed your video, specifically the fact that you were showing like a lot of like facts. Like I had no idea that like we spend like billions of dollars like every year on like wrapping. Yeah. Like that's like ridiculous. Plus like even glitter, I didn't even know what that was like made out of, nor did I think it was something that like harmed the environment. So you really threw in a lot of interesting facts in there that I had no idea. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, I actually didn't know any of that either. Like when I decided about doing the wrapping paper idea, I literally knew absolutely nothing about it. I just knew that you could use things that weren't wrapping paper to wrap gifts. That was the extent of my knowledge. But learning about the glitter and stuff, like I thought that was really interesting because like obviously all of us love glitter on gifts. Like glitter just adds everything to it. That's just a fact, right? But knowing that like it's actually killing animals, you know, every year, like it's not something I want to use anymore after that. So.
Oh, very good point. Yeah, Jeff, did you have a comment?
Sure. Yeah, maybe to just two quick things. I like the opening aerial shot, the overhead shot, just to establish, you know, what's important to preserve. And I guess just the other thing is just a question: how did you find out about the issue? Because I know it's something. I mean, maybe it's a generational thing for me, but I don't think about. You think about wrapping paper; it's fine. You buy it, you unwrap, you recycle, and everyth's good. So how did you find out about it?
I don't know how I actually found out about it. I think I've known that wrapping paper is not recyclable for a really long time. But I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really care at first. But honestly, after doing the doc film course with Dr. Terry, like I actually started caring more about the environment and stuff. So when I thought of the idea, I was like, you know what? Like a lot of people don't know about this. And after learning so much about it and researching it, I was like, yeah, I need to do something about this. So hopefully I got through to some people. I know my mom put it on Facebook for like through her account, and a lot of people are commenting saying they're not going to use wrapping paper anymore. So hopefully that's true. Yeah, it was. I enjoyed researching it.
It's a very valuable topic because I checked the Youth Climate Report, and out of the 527 videos that are there, no one has tackled this issue yet. So
that's crazy.
It's a very important addition to the project that you've made.
Glad I did it then.
Yeah. Excellent. Anybody else? I think there was something in the chat room here. Let me just check. Oh, Rebecca says it's very cute.
Thank you.
The part where your mom was like sharing it, I think is really cute.
Yeah.
I also just wanted to say quickly, like the music that you chose, I felt like it went well, really, like it went
really well, like all together. Like I couldn't even tell like the transition, like all of a sudden it changed. And I was like, wait, what? And then it was
Thank
like the
you.
solution is really nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Let's move on to the next filmmaker, which is Hannah. Hannah, are you ready to perform?
Sure thing.
Okay, would you like to say something before you start the film?
Oh, sure. So my film is tackling a local issue. I'm from Windsor, Essex. So this is local to me. And there's water completely surrounding my community, whether that's Lake Erie, Lake St. Clair, or the Detroit River. So I decided to focus on the rising water levels, which have steadily gone up throughout my short lifetime. So I interviewed some locals as well as some Laurier professors, and this is what I came up with. Let's see if I can properly screen share this time. Okay, so my film is called Treading Tides.
Okay, Treading Tides.
Let me know if the sound isn't working.
We hear about it all the time. We hear the officials talking, and it's scary because there's nothing we can really do about it. It's something we're very aware of.
But what happens is that people will build cottages along there. And so they'll see that, during a storm or maybe during a particularly active winter, they'll come up and open up their cottage in the springtime and they'll see that some of their beach is missing. Or if the water has risen, and they'll see the erosion. So what they'll do is they'll build these, cement groins or wooden groins. They'll put ginseng posts in to try and prevent the lake from carrying their beach farther along. But unfortunately, it's only a stopgap measure because the lake always wins in the end.
What are the officials saying? Properties are flooding. Just up the street, we're seeing flooding as well. The shoreline is eroding, and we're questioning whether or not this was a good move, if this is safe to be here.
Now we're seeing different things. We're seeing flooding at unusual times of the year. So earlier in the springtime, because what's happening is that you get a sudden thawing event where the temperatures go way up. And so you get a lot of water pouring into rivers, but there's still ice in the rivers and that hasn't melted yet. So the ice actually forms dams. And so the water that's rushing into the river backs up behind these ice dams and start to cause floods. So the dynamics of our river system start to change as the climate changes.
We've had a couple close scares this year. The road floods from the canal on the other side. When the waves and the water rises in the lake, it comes through the canal rises, the road floods, the sewage systems all back up. So we've actually had water come up to the top of the sandbags. Any significant events? Yeah, a year ago in November, there was a terrible collapse in a town nearby called Wheatley, where the tides just eroded the shoreline so badly that the road actually fell in. That was kind of a shock. It shoved reality into our face that this is how bad it can really get.
I think that most climate scientists agree that the risk of floods around the world, in Canada and elsewhere, is going to go up in most regions, except in those where precipitation will become scarcer. So there are parts of the world, like out west, for example, the Great Plains, sub-Saharan Africa, especially West Africa and Southern Africa, where rainfall will become scarcer. And so they will actually have different risks. They'll have drought risks on a much greater basis. Here in Eastern North America, especially Southern Ontario, there might be the risk of more frequent droughts. So the risk of flash flooding and so on may well increase.
Just at the end of the day, we have to face the reality that this community, if something doesn't happen, if something doesn't change, this community could be at risk. We don't stand a chance.
well done. You even got the logos in there. Good for you.
Yeah.
All right, congratulations. Another round of applause for another great film. Hannah, I love that. You had some very, very striking B-roll. It really showed the impact of the rising sea levels, you know, showing the coastlines and the sandbags and that beautiful shot with just a little bit of greenery peeping out through the water. You know, that's all very dramatic. And of course, the elephants and the alligators too.
Yeah, that was just like, he said one thing, I was like, I'm gonna run with it.
It's okay. It's nice. It was a good addition to it all, and a good choice of music too, because it had the right tone. You know, it was serious and everything, and it dragged people through the story as well. So it was very good. Yeah. Okay. So congratulations. Anybody else?
My friend actually made the music for the film, so he I have to give him complete credit for that. His name is Paul Torado, and yeah, he was very gracious. He was like, "Yeah, I'll help you out with your thing," and I was like, "Okay, I know nothing about music, but can you make it like ominous but not depressing?" Like, I don't know. He completely got it, so I'm really happy and I'm really proud.
Oh yeah, I think he struck the balance you were looking for. Did you credit him in the film?
Yeah, he was in the opening credits as well as the tail credits.
Excellent. Well done. Okay, Hannah or Haley, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Paul literally did so good. He was in my audio production class, and he was always just getting straight A's constantly.
Oh my god, of course he was.
Yeah, it was really well done. You did a really good job. I loved the B-roll. My favorite spot was probably whenever you had the icicles dripping.
Oh yeah,
that was a really nice like shot. What did you do that one, or was that a B-roll one that you found online?
That was a B-roll one, but most of it was B-roll. But I tried to like get them as close to what I did film, so I'm glad that you're even asking if that was a B-roll.
Yeah, no, that looked really. It was really, really nice. It definitely added to it a lot.
Well done. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Quinlan?
I thought it was really great, and I love how you had a local person talking about it. I think that added a lot of like personal connection to the film, which was really impactful.
Thank you so much. Yeah, she definitely like helped pick the topic because like she lives there, and like I was like, you know what, just tell me about your experience, and I think that hopefully went well. So I'm really glad you like that. Thank you so much.
Cool. Anybody else? Jeff, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just to bounce off of that, the previous comment, I thought it was really great how you combine the expert, right, Dr. McLennan, with the local resident, right, because he's talking about things in general, and then you had that those interviews, and especially impactful, I think, was showing her outside the front of her house with the sandbags on the front, just to, you know, as a real example of what residents are going through. And I also thought the audio of the interviews their interviews with the local resident was very good as well. So it was very clear. Yeah, so it's a great film.
Okay, great. Anybody else? Any other comments or questions? No? All right, well, let's move along to our next film in the series, Grace. We're calling on you.
Okay.
So if you want to say something about the film before you start it.
Sure. So my film is called Bringing Back the Importance of Nature, and it's about nature-based resources in the Waterloo area and how they've been affected positively and negatively during COVID-19.
Okay, great. Sorry, I'm just writing down your title there. There we go. Yeah, whenever you're ready.
I've never done a screen share, so.
Okay, the little green button at the bottom says share screen.
Okay.
You click on that, and you should see the various windows that you have open, and one of them should be your YouTube one.
Okay.
Here you go. Well done.
Okay.
Just maximize your YouTube screen.
Okay.
There you go. And hit play whenever you're ready.
Waterloo, Ontario, a booming university city that's found itself in the midst of both a climate and COVID-19 crisis. I sat down with Dr. Christopher Lemieux, Associate Professor at Wilfrid Laurier University, to talk about how COVID-19 correlates with the climate crisis and how these two have affected Waterloo's natural resources.
When I think about COVID and the Waterloo region and the resources that are available to us, what I really see is kind of a little bit of a reconciliation with nature kind of going on, if you want to call it that. So it's kind of the natural resources that are within the region in terms of parks and trails and other areas that, you know, when the lockdown first happened back in March, you know, after the first month or so, when people were, you know, unsure of as to what was safe and what isn't, you know, you really started seeing people flock to the outdoors. COVID is a result of human activities. Climate change is a result of human activities, and, you know, by protecting nature and using, you know, in what we call nature-based solutions, you know, nature-based solutions in terms of protecting nature, restoring nature, can both prevent things like a future virus outbreak and can also work towards mitigating climate change through carbon sequestration. When we're thinking about, you know, what a post-COVID world will look like, right? I really do feel that there's an opportunity when we, you know, when we're building back the economy and we're building back society, that, you know, nature-based solutions, nature in general, and, you know, what's been called a green recovery is core to that, right? With obviously considerations of equity within that as well. One of the biggest problems is that, you know, just like COVID, right, it will be less costly to prevent future climate change than to, you know, cure it to, you know, to the greatest extent possible. So it's just, again, I think there's some lessons from COVID that we can use and apply to climate change. For this, when we're thinking about planning the Waterloo region, we just need to ensure that, you know, as part of this green recovery, that we have appropriate things in place like trails for commuting, right, and safe passageways for people to take their bikes and to walk. And these are, you know, relatively low cost, you know, in terms of overall costs, and they're things that need to be integrated into the planning process at the beginning, because trying to retrofit things after the fact is always more expensive, right? And so I just think that there's got to be, you know, greater investment in making the Waterloo region a more sustainable community and focusing on more sustainable transportation.
When people couldn't go anywhere or visit anyone, they looked to the nature-based resources like parks and trails for help both physically and mentally. My hope is that when COVID-19 ends and we go back to our busy lives, we still look to these nature-based resources and protect them and lower our carbon emissions in the fight against climate change.
That's great. You put the whole map in there. That's awesome.
Mhm.
Well, congratulations. Once again, a round of applause for Grace. That was
Grammarly helps make your writing clear and concise, no matter where you are. With Grammarly on your computer and phone.
Okay, there we go. How do I unshare?
no problem.
I think on the bottom it should say.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
You got it? Let's try this again. Another round of applause for Grace. Thank you. Oh, that was a great film. A very, very fascinating topic too, and very timely with COVID and all. I like certain shots that blended the two. Like there was one shot of a mask on the ground covered with leaves. You know,
Yeah.
it was an excellent image to represent the two main points of your story, right? And a very good interview with the professor as well. He was a very strong element to your film.
Yeah, well, he's a professor at Wilfrid Laurier, but he's also a Waterloo native. Like he's from Waterloo, so he's a resident. So that's kind of where I wanted to.
That's great. You got an expert and someone impacted by what he's talking about at the same time. Well done. Yeah, good. Anybody else have any comments or questions? Yes, Kristen.
I really enjoyed your film. I really loved your idea. I think the whole COVID-19 aspect of and climate change, it's really our own fault that a pandemic like this happened. And I think a lot of people are like trying to blame like different parties, like, oh, this person's responsible. Like, really, no, it's all of us. But I also liked how you let your interview subject narrate most of the film. You just let him take it and run with it. I really liked that. It really like kept my attention. So great job.
Thank you. I felt that he was more of the expert and eligible to talk about everything that I wanted to learn. So I wanted to just learn from him and kind of get my idea from. I had like a bit of an idea, but it really kind of blossomed after I had talked to him about my idea and what he had to say about how Waterloo was affected by climate change and the cause being, with COVID-19. So
great. Okay, Rebecca, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say that I think your film was very well put together. I especially liked when he was, I forgot the word, I can't say it, but you explained it through like text right after. So it wasn't like
carbon sequestration.
Yeah, so it wasn't like he was just saying it and then like we're left with like what does that mean? Like I like really like the definition after it because I feel like it really helped me understand everything a lot better.
Yeah, carbon capture and storage is kind of a popular way of taking the carbon out of the atmosphere. And in some cases, they have very strange ways of storing it. In Russia, for example, they put them all in these cases and they put them underwater in abandoned swimming pools. Because you can't really well bury them in the ground because then it'll come back out, right? So they're putting them in abandoned swimming pools. So it's a very interesting concept to deal with a problem we have now. Yeah. Cool. All right. So who's next on the list? Quinlan. Let's hear about your film.
I actually interviewed Dr. Terry for my film, so it's about documentary filmmaking and how that relates to climate change.
Oh, well, this is going to be an awesome film then.
Mm-hmm. Can you see that?
Yep.
And then let me know if you guys can't hear it. I don't really know how this works.
I think there's a very unique approach that I kind of stumbled on that I'm really recommending to other documentary filmmakers who want to accelerate the path to social change. And that's basically using the policymaker or the change maker as a collaborator. But if you bring them on in the beginning, they're able to give you, for lack of a better word, a shot list of what they need to see in order to provide the visible evidence that they require to come up with progressive new policy. So the trick there is to work with them to find out what they need to see, what kind of visible evidence, what kind of data is necessary for them to create new policy. The way I know it works is because it happened to me. We went from 2008 to 2009 shooting in Antarctica, basically documenting the various research projects of the world's global scientific community focusing on International Polar Year. So it was a lot of things related to climate change impacts. So things like melting glaciers and declining penguin populations and the greening of Antarctica. with some of the snow and ice that had melted away because of the warming temperatures, we're now beginning to see prehistoric grass grow in Antarctica that hasn't seen the light of day in 17,000 years. We realized at the time that we were the only film crew that happened to be doing a documentary in Antarctica during that very important year of scientific research. So when we got back, we got a phone call from the United Nations. They invited me to come to the conference and present the film and kind of act as a surrogate for the scientists and talk about what I experienced while I was shooting down there and answer some of the questions that come up in the film. And because it works so well, using film as a data delivery system at these policy conferences, they asked me to do it again year after year. The other one that I made is a film called The Polar Explorer. And that was presented at the subsequent 2010 Climate Summit in Cancun, Mexico. And that's the film that showed big discharges of ice coming off of glaciers and contributing significantly to rising sea levels. Well, when the policymakers there at that conference saw that footage, they immediately came up with a policy that's known as Enhanced Action on Adaptation, Section 2, Subsection 25. I don't have to be the only one, right? All other documentary filmmakers can do that, and not just with the United Nations, but with your own ministries here in Canada or government departments in the States or anywhere else in the world. Very nice. Well done. Another round of applause. Good job, Quinlan. No, you handled that interview very well. You know, there's some very good B-roll and you cut out the ramblings that I remember making. So it was put together with very good timing too. And I think you really are talking about a very interesting, if I can say so, way of making documentary films for the purpose of change. So I'm glad that you followed that that advice and made a little film about it. So I think that's interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Grace. Yeah.
I loved your little animations. I thought they were so incredibly cute and very informative. I think it really allowed for me to, have a visual understanding and representation of, what Dr. Terry was discussing.
Thank you.
What was the film called again? You forget.
It's called Climate Change Action: How Documentary Filmmaking Can Be Used as a Tool for Social Change.
Oh my God.
A bit wordy.
That's okay. I'll get it all from you later. Haley, yeah.
I also really liked the animations. I thought those were so cool. And like, how did you do that? Like, what did you use to make those?
On my iPad, I have Procreate. I don't know if you guys know what this is, but it's like a drawing tool. And so I screen recorded me drawing it and then like sped it up in iMovie.
Okay, yeah, see, if I'd done that, it would look awful. I can't draw for it at all. So well done. That was really, really good.
Thank you.
Anybody else have their hand up? I can only see so many in this view here. Yes, Kristen, yeah.
I was just gonna reiterate what everyone else said, just that I loved the little drawings. That was so cute and unique. And I wish I had that ability. I find like I have a vision, but editing is a lot harder for me. So good on you for that one. I really enjoyed it. It was really good.
Thank you all so much.
Anybody else? From Hannah to everyone, the animations were the best. There you go. Yeah, well, everybody likes the animations. And it really was a fun way of underscoring some of the information in the film. That was a nice part of it all. Okay, let's see who's next. Rebecca, don't go anywhere. You're up.
Okay, how do you screen share and do this stuff? I haven't done this before.
Okay, in a separate window, open YouTube and queue up your film. Is that ready?
Yeah, and then I just screen share at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, my film is called Creating a New Habit. It's to bring awareness to reuse and recycle what you already have. Because a lot of stuff that you already have at home can have a second life, but we tend to just throw it out, and therefore like adding on to all the landfills we already have. And yeah. Can I play with my headphones in, or do I have to take my headphones out?
I don't know. Why don't we give it a try?
Okay. Google Chrome. Oh. Sorry, my thing is. It says, will not be able to record the contents of your screen until you quit Zoom.
Well, we're only looking to share. We're not looking to record. So it's
okay. There we go. I got it. Can you guys see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you hear it or? Okay, I'll take out my phone.
Yeah. There you go.
According to Google, climate change is a long-term change in the average weather patterns that have come to define Earth's local, regional, and global climates. There's no doubt that climate change affects everything, as we are already seeing the harmful consequences. Therefore, we must create a new habit of sustainable living. Next time, instead of buying new products, see what you already have so we can stop destroying our planet. It is now our responsibility to create a better sustainable lifestyle to fight against climate change.
My name is Chad Suter. I am the founder and creator of a YouTube channel called That Happy Family, where we bring our audience along as we just live our DIY lifestyle. So what kind of started the journey of recycling materials to build? So on our channel, kind of our unspoken tagline is living a DIY lifestyle, meaning that we're not DIYers, but we are living a DIY life. We have a tendency to just see a project and go, we can do that. I think we can do it maybe a little bit better than the way that we've seen it done in the past. And a lot of the projects that we work on include recycled materials. That's not necessarily something that came out of wanting to do good for the environment originally. It was years ago that we got started doing this, but over time we've seen that it absolutely doesn't make a difference. If we're using recycled materials versus brand new materials, the end result is not any different. Why are we going to the store and purchasing all of this wood when we have a pile of wood on our side yard that we could be, it's perfectly good. We could be using this for the project. And then as time went on, it just became habit. Like, oh, I got 2x4s on the side yard. We have 2x6s over here we can use. And whether it was building a table or building our giant skate ramp that we have in the front yard, the idea of recycled materials, or the idea of using recycled materials, is now at the forefront of my mind. Whenever I'm building something, before going and purchasing new stuff, I think, do I have anything here I can use? I'd say the single largest recycled project that I've ever worked on myself is the ramp that's located at my house. I built the ramp out of just wanting to give them a space to play. Yeah, I look down there and I'm happy to say that I did that. I put my hands to the plow and I put that together to give my kids the space that they deserve. The fact that it is recycled materials, I am proud of that. And though I didn't intend for it to be all out of recycled materials in the beginning, once the project got started, I realized I haven't purchased stuff to make this ramp, and so it became kind of a challenge to continue that process. I definitely think my kids will carry on this sustainable lifestyle. I mean, kids are a product of their environment, and they've seen the way that we live and they've seen the way that we speak. As far as recycling materials, I don't think it makes sense not to reuse stuff. When you work with your hands, when you're working with wood especially, I can't not think to reuse stuff now. So I think that the way that we live our sustainable life is going to affect our kids, has already affected our kids in the way of just, I don't know, it almost seems like common sense to me just to consider, okay, do I need to go to the store to purchase something, or do I have something here that I can reuse? I think that there might be a lot of people out there that have a fear of failing. They want to live a more sustainable life, but there's got to be effort put in. And I would say to them, don't be afraid to make little mistakes along the way. If you're trying to live a more sustainable life, if you're recycling more, if you're just being more conscious about the way that you're living, the things that you're putting in your body, the things that you're putting out into the environment, progress, no matter how small, is still progress. So if you're taking steps in the right direction, you can know that you're doing something. You're doing something to be where you want to be in the future. And that's a lot bigger than I think people think it is. I think that a lot of the battle is in your mind, just being conscious of what you're doing with your things, what you're putting in your body, what you're putting into the environment. If you're thinking about that, you make one better decision every day, one turns into two, and then it turns into a lifestyle. I am no spokesperson for the environment, but I know that I care, and I know that I want to do things better, and I know that I want to recycle things as much as I possibly can. We don't want to just be consumers of everything. So if we can cut down on that a little bit, I think that we're playing a good role. I think it's important for us to advocate for a sustainable lifestyle and for even climate change in the way that we do. Though it might not be a huge way that we advocate for it, I think that for us, it starts in our home. It starts with our kids, and we want to raise good humans that are going to go out and be other people in this world. How are they going to affect the planet? How are they going to affect the people around them? How are they going to affect the animals that they come into contact with? Maybe not even directly, but through the trash that they're putting into the trash can. Or, I mean, you lead by example, and if I believe that I'm living a sustainable life and I'm doing my part, then my kids are going to follow in suit. The importance of advocating for a sustainable life is because it does help. It's proven to help the environment. I mean, everything that we do affects either someone or something in some way, whether it's big or small. The way that we live has an effect. When I do sit and think about it, yeah, we live a much more sustainable lifestyle than a lot of the people around us. I mean, we have gardens in our front yard that we eat out of. We have chickens, and they provide us with eggs, and we provide them with a good life. Fair trade. The materials that we're using in our home, like we did a full room addition for our daughter so that she could have more space in her room, and all of the insulation is organic materials. Everything that we did buy for that, we made sure that it was good for her. If it's good for her, it's also good for the environment. I think that there's something in all of our lives that we can do, some obvious, some not so obvious, that can better our lives, can better the lives of people around us, and can in suit better the environment. When I'm putting videos on the internet, I don't want to just be another resounding sound that's going out there. I want to be something that's unique. I want to be something that's true to myself, and I want to add to the space. Whether they see it or not, we all have value, and you can be something positive, and that's what I want to be. We believe that everything that we do has an effect on something or somebody. So every decision that we make, we want it to be one that's health conscious, environmentally conscious, and though we might fail sometimes, that's not going to keep us from trying.
Wow, that was great. Yeah, congratulations. Well, that's the second time I've seen that particular film, and it just keeps on getting better. I think the word that comes to mind watching that film is inspirational. You know, you're looking at that family that is doing everything together and recycling, not originally intentionally, but they kind of backed into it, which is a nice kind of subtext to the whole story. But seeing how much fun they have, the images that you chose are really good, showing those really a beautiful little family having fun and doing it all together, and nobody kind of complaining about it. Or and then you also had some very interesting B-roll with butterflies and bees and shooting stars and waves. It was overall just a beautiful, very inspirational film.
Thank you. Actually, all those clips that you saw, like with the bees and everything, he actually took them. Like Chad, the guy that I interviewed, because he also does a lot of like nature like videos and like records like a lot of like B-roll stuff in his own vlogs. So I took him all from him. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay, anybody else?
Haley.
So he said like the one word that he would think of as inspiring. I thought of heartwarming.
Mm.
Like, I don't know, seeing the family just having fun together and just doing something with the family together. That's really, really nice. Also seeing the chickens, like the kids with the chickens is really cute too, because I have chickens and they're just the cutest little animals. So it's nice like seeing them in like videos like this. But yeah, it was really, really nice. I liked how he was so calm when he was talking. Like, I know with my mom when I interviewed her, like she was a little nervous at first, but he just seemed like so like chill. I guess maybe because he's a YouTuber, but yeah, he did really well. It was really, really nice. I loved it.
Yeah, he was throughout his video, he was very calm, but a lot of stuff that I had to cut out was like a lot of buts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. He sent me like 22 minutes worth of like him just talking. So working through that was so hard, but
yeah, having to cut it down is difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did well.
No, you made some very good edits, because the first version I saw was much longer, and I know you had a lot of footage to work with. Almost looks like 100-to-1 ratio, if you ask me. but you pulled it back really nice, so I think it's great. Yeah.
Thank you.
And there's a message in the chat. Just let me see what that is. Oh yeah, Hannah saying, "I love this. Oh my God, everything was done so well. It's really, really exceptional." There you go.
Thanks, Hannah.
Anybody else? No. Okay. Let's see.
Jeff.
Oh, Jeff, did you have something, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm just curious. You said he sent in 22 minutes of footage of the interviews. To set up the topic, how detailed were your instructions? And did you give him sort of broad parameters or a list of questions to kind of elicit that that length of a response? And I can imagine, I mean, it's great to get that much footage, but then to condense it into a few minutes is a real challenge. You did a very nice job doing that. So, but I'm just curious about that process.
Thank you. With like questions, I asked him around like maybe 5 to 6 questions about just like how he lives his life, like to introduce himself, and a lot about like what he's doing to keep a sustainable lifestyle. And he just like went off in all of the all of his answers. Like a lot of his answers were close to like 3 minutes each, when I was expecting more like a minute answer. But it's really great that he went into detail with everything. Yeah.
Okay, good. Anybody else? Let me just check here. All right. Why don't we move on to Evan? Hey, Evan, are you ready?
Hello.
Hi.
Well, I emailed you before. I am simply here to support the rest of the group.
Okay,
because my interview is scheduled for 3 p.m. tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
And I'll be turning it in before Friday.
Okay, perfect. No, that's fine.
Yes.
Sorry, I might have been getting ready for today and I missed your email, but
that's okay.
That's cool, no problem.
Yeah. No, I've been enjoying though everything everyone's done. We've got a wide variety of subjects for the interview, people that are being interviewed. We've got a wide variety of styles. So I've been enjoying seeing how everyone's approached the same task and seeing how everyone takes it their own way and create something new.
Good. And there's a message in the chat saying that your support is greatly appreciated. All right. So who else do we have here? How about Juan? Are you ready?
Yeah, I am.
All right.
Yeah, so my film kind of just targets how why climate change should be something that's taught in school, because growing up I've never been taught about climate change, nor have like my peers and friends, unless it was like a project someone chose to do it on. So I kind of just targeted on that.
And what's the title of the film?
I didn't make a title, but I'm gonna title it probably like Climate Change and Education System Reformed or something.
Okay.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Right now, if we keep doing what we're doing, if we keep burning fossil fuels, driving gasoline-powered cars, using jet airplanes that are fueled by, petroleum, fueling our factories with coal or other oil products, we're going to increasingly add more and more carbon to the atmosphere, and the Earth will get warmer and warmer. And the consequences of that will become worse and worse in terms of, storms that get worse, more droughts, more forest fires, sea level rise, because when water gets warmer, it expands and that raises the sea level, and ice caps melt and that raises the sea level. We can control it, but we have to make a radical change very soon, within the next 10 or 20 years.
I have been in school for 12 years and have not been taught anything about climate change. It scares me to know that many of my peers who are now leaving high school are uneducated on the topic and its irreversible effects. I think that the younger generation needs to be taught about climate change at a younger age so that they have the ability to make a change in the way we live our lives for the betterment of ourselves.
I believe that climate change is important to learn in school because our children and grandchildren are going to be cleaning up the mess made by previous generations. When we learn how to make a difference early in life, we can be a part of the change that leads to a cleaner Earth.
So I've been teaching university students for more than a decade now, and I found that a lot of the students come into my courses really hungry for information about how to make the world a better place, how to change things for the better. And they recognize climate change and the challenges that climate change is going to pose for their lives and the future of the planet. And so I think it's crucial that we offer courses and we give them the tools to both understand the problem, but especially to find solutions and help them find their way to find solutions so they can have a part in solving the climate change problem.
It matters.
It matters.
It matters. It matters.
It matters.
It matters.
All right. Thank you, Ron. Well done. Another beautiful film with a powerful message. Can I make a suggestion about the title?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you call it It Matters? Because, so many students say it at the end. It would be a really great way to underscore the title. So, and the message. Yeah, no, that's, of course, I'm very partial to the poetic mode of documentary filmmaking, and that's how your film began and ended. And I love just seeing those visuals with the little keynote messages scrolling across the screen there. It's, I just think that's the most emotionally engaging format to make documentary films in, and you did a great job. And you got a good interview too out of Tom, so well done. Okay, anybody else?
Haley?
Haley.
I really liked that you used your friends in it. That's really, really nice. It definitely adds a more personal touch to your own life too, which is really nice. Also the elephant shot. I love elephants, so seeing that I was like, oh cute. But yeah, the titles were really, really well done too. How they slid in and everything, that was really, really nice. And good music. It was just good. It was good overall.
And Hannah put a message in the chat room here, says, I really like how you got so many different people to take part in this. Yeah, it really was a community project, wasn't it? It's good to see so many students involved, even if they did just contribute 2 words. Anybody else? Okay, just let me check here. No? Okay. All right. Now, has everybody presented? Did I miss anybody? I don't. Oh, Kristen? Oh, you haven't done yours yet? Oh, I'm so sorry, Kristen. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
All right. Okay, we saved the best for last, right? All right. Tell us a bit about the film and the title.
Okay, so my title is Canadian Conservation Areas. You'll see there's a shot outside from my bedroom window, actually. So for most of my life, I've lived like literally like across the street from a conservation area. So I wanted to make that part of my documentary. And I'll explain more after I show it. So yeah.
Okay, good. Well, how fortunate you are to live so close to a conservation area. That's great.
Yeah. Sorry, my Wi-Fi is also very bad, so I'm gonna have to turn off my camera. But yeah, it's definitely made life interesting. I see a lot of coyotes, so.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Hold on.
Okay.
If I mute, does that like, can you like still hear my screen here?
Well, let's give it a try. You should be okay. Is there audio now in the film?
Yeah, can you?
Ah, there it is.
Can you? Oh, okay. My bad. Ready?
If I asked you what it meant to be Canadian, what would you answer? Is it our landscapes and our love for the great outdoors? Our wildlife? Maybe it's our thrill and passion for sports. Our tourist attractions like Niagara Falls? Maybe it was our diverse and populated cities like Toronto. No matter what your answer was, there's no doubt, as Canadians, our land is a part of who we are. Climate change is affecting our Canadian landscapes in more ways than we can imagine. At the heart of all of this, our Canadian parks and protected areas, and most importantly, our conservation areas, serve as key to protecting our Canadian landscape. These areas provide a space for wildlife such as plants and animals to flourish. Conservation areas strengthen and address the interconnectedness of value systems within wildlife and the Indigenous peoples. These areas are actively helping against climate change by mitigating extreme weather and maintaining functioning ecosystems. Conservation areas contribute to local economies while providing employment and billions of dollars to the Canadian economy each year. Local Facebook community, Levy Shore's neighbors with Lynn Shore's conservation area, have shared their personal experiences of how living near a conservation area has both impacted and enriched their bonds with nature around them. Lynch Shore's Environmental Monitoring Committee, Stephanie Sullivan Chung, has shared several of the implementations and mandates that they recommended to combat climate change in their community. Stephanie mentions that few of these implementations were actually conducted as they were rejected by the town. Implementations such as signage for storm ponds, documentation of land edging, and studying the impacts of pollution to pH levels in water and ecosystems are a step in the right direction. Climate change has caused lower water levels on average and an increase in water temperature. During changing seasons, Canadians are experiencing reduced ice coverage, earlier thawing, and later freezing. Underwater, there has been a decrease in cold-water fish populations and an increase in altered breeding patterns. With rising temperatures and a drier climate comes with increased forest fires and loss of trees. The fight against climate change is far from over, and you may ask yourself, what can I do? If possible, make an effort to reduce carbon emissions. Residents of Lynch Shores report walking to get their groceries and traveling to other places on foot. Ensure to not disturb native plant species and replant them whenever possible. Harsh chemicals are toxic to the environment. Ensure they do not enter the sewage system. Use natural products as much as you can. And lastly, I'm sure you've heard this one throughout your entire life, but please make sure to reduce, reuse, and recycle. If I asked you one more time what it meant to be Canadian, I hope you would say, to be Canadian is to protect and conserve our landscape.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, well done. Kristen, that was great. I would put that in the category of video essay. You had an awful lot of research there and some great statistics. And every time you either mentioned something or put a text up, there was an equally corresponding visual to go with it. And it was gorgeous. It was really gorgeous. And how lucky you are to live so close to such a beautiful area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much. It was a lot of editing and a lot of frustration, but I got through it. So
now I noticed somewhere in the middle there, it looked like a little bit of audio might be missing.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I when I edited it, that wasn't there, and I guess like the format, something happened with it. So
no, I was just going to reassure you that after this, if you play it again on YouTube, you'll probably find it's there. It might be because we were sharing that it just cut out for a second.
I when I tell you I've watched this video like 30 times in the last like 12 hours.
I know.
But yeah, if you know me, you know that I like to write, and all I like to do is like write and read and make projects like this. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, you combine those passions into the film project. So very good. Very good. And I also like the fact that you offered some solutions, because that's the number one question that I usually encounter from all people, not just young people, but what can I do? And it's good that you gave some options there. So that's great. Okay, anybody else?
Really?
So since you asked me, what was your favorite part about making the video?
I think like just I saw oh my god, how do I say this? I like the Whitby Shores Neighbors group has been around for like so long, but I often never used it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna use this to my advantage. So I got so many responses. I got there's about 2,000 members in that whole group. So I was so glad that like Stephanie was there and I got to talk with her. So yeah, and also I took the more like digital approach of doing it online rather than like having someone speak. I don't know, just to make it more cohesive. And
I think that's good, like considering everything that's going on. Like obviously if it was a different year, like things would be different. Like we'd be able to go and interview as many people as we wanted to, but since it's COVID and we're trying to stay safe, like I think that really added to everything. It was really good and I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Thanks, Rebecca.
Yeah. Anybody? Oh, Rebecca. Yeah, Rebecca said something in the comment here or in the chat room. I really like how your beginning and end connected with each other. The flow was really nice. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Jeff has his hand up.
Oh,
I have my own record view, so.
All right, Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked in this film and others as well. I think this is a big strength of doing this. I liked how you connected the big issues to a local group, and then you had their voices presented. And I think interviewing over Zoom or having text interviews, I think both of those can work really effectively. And I think everyone's done a very nice job with that. And it's I think educational for me as well, as we kind of figure out where we're going with some of our projects and interviews. But I thought it can have a really big impact to have a local conservation group like you did, Christian, talking about these larger issues and providing a kind of a case study of people on the ground and what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fabulous. I like that a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, my neighborhood, they're always posting stuff, clean up your trash, like stuff like that. But I was like, well, this would be perfect. I'm gonna use this to my advantage. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, it should also be pointed out to all of you. Special congratulations for pulling off the films as great as they are in the middle of a pandemic, where a lot of the usual production processes are denied you because of isolation and distancing. So for the films to be as strong as they are, that's a testament to your talent. So well done, everybody. Okay, yeah, give yourself a round of applause. Okay. Now, I'm going to spend the rest of the day sharing your films with my colleagues at the UN and getting their sign off. And as soon as I get that, I'm going to post them to the Youth Climate Report and send you the UN link so you can watch the films and see it on the big giant map. And what else will I do? I'll email you all once I get the approval. And I'm also going to, so Evan, when you get me your film, I'll go through the same process whenever you get yours to me by next Friday. And also, I don't know if I told all you guys, I'm pretty sure I did though, that the Youth Climate Report, where all your films are destined to be, that won a United Nations award last week from the Sustainable Development Goals Action Awards. And what they would like is for me to take one of the students from this project and bring them, so to speak, to the Zoom ceremony, March 25th and 26th, where we can show your film and you can talk about it and talk about your experience. I'm going to be bringing a couple of other students too, that they want them from the various programs that feed the project, right? So I'll let you know who that is. It's not entirely my decision. It'll also be someone from the UN that would like to show your film and show you talking about it as well. Okay, so so there's that to look forward to as well. All right, so thanks everybody for coming out on a Sunday for this micro film festival. Unless there's any questions, we can sign off for the day. Everybody cool?
Hannah has a question, I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just one little question. Do you want us to like send you the links to our films or?
Yes. Oh, yes, obviously, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, how are you gonna get them? Are you gonna Google search them? Okay.
Yeah, but the link to share with me is not the address bar YouTube link.
Okay.
Send me the link that's generated from the share button underneath.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's the one to use. So send me that. Also send the title again. And if you haven't already done so, get the longitude and latitude coordinates where your film takes place. For the conservation area, I bet if you type in the name of that place and add long and lat, you'll probably get very specific coordinates for that space. Yes, Kristen.
Yeah, so I put in the description of my video, I put just like Whitby, Ontario, where I'm from. But in the email, if you want, I can send you the Lynn Shores.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the showcase of the film, right? So yeah, if you can type in the...
Sorry, should I edit the description if I can then?
Yeah, if you can, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure, so I just put one of them.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine for now. Yeah,
Okay.
do that and that would be great.
Okay, I'll do that for you.
Thanks. Anybody else?
Yeah, I made my video in Waterloo because that's where I am right now. But like,
Yeah.
I'm from like the GTA, and like majority of the students that are in my video are from there. So should I put the longitude from like a city that's there, or like just Waterloo?
Well, I think in your case, either one is fine. Okay, so yeah, what I was trying to avoid is to have 12 films from Waterloo on the map. We'd like to spread them around. So yeah, so if you can avoid Waterloo, that's probably a good thing. But if you can't, that's okay too. Okay, anybody else? All right. So I'd also like to thank Jeff for spending some time on a Sunday to join us and to watch all the films. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, well, thanks for inviting me. It was fun. So it was great. Great films, everybody.
Great. Okay, well, thanks again, everybody, and thanks for participating in the Student Life Levy program. I'll be keeping in touch with you next week, and I'll let you know as soon as I hear back from the UN. Okay? So congratulations to you all. You've done wonderful work, and I'm very, very proud of each and every one of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Sure. Did you like that, Jeff? Did you like that?
Yeah, it was fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, really, really good work, and really exciting to be able to do this for the students. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad this program existed. It was because usually there's a lot of red tape and paperwork and and previous approvals and blah blah blah. But with this program, because it's outside the university as a social thing, they were able to just run wild and they really embraced it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, fabulous. Really, really good. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can bring that same energy to young people in Ghana too, eh?
Yes. So let's cross our fingers. All right.
Okay. Take
Great.
care.
Thanks, Mark. Take care. Bye-bye.